Hey, what time is it?
It's crunch time. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about fishing, y'all. So this past summer, me and Dad went for a little R&R. We went fishing down in the coast of North Carolina. To be specific, we went to Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. And Dad took me on my first deep sea fishing trip. And do we have a story to tell?
We're going to cover part 2 of our Atlantic Beach vacation from the summer. Yeah. And it covers all the fishing we did. For his birthday, he wanted to go do fishing. This boy fishes all the time. Like, all the time. So, yeah, he loves fishing. Most of the time I can't get a hold of him because he's on his kayak somewhere ripping lips. Yeah. All the time. So while we were down there, we hit everything from pure fishing, deep sea fishing, of course. We even had a boat chartered to go shark fishing because he loves to catch sharks. He has since he was little, but he's never caught big sharks. He's always caught, everything from sand sharks to like juvenile black tips and stuff like that. So, and a little later in the video, we'll explain how the shark fishing went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little different.
Yeah, it was something. So, one of the cool things was behind the motel where we actually stayed at. There was some boat docks for people who were staying there at the motel.
They had a boat.
And it was really nice little place back there, just a little channel going into the waterway. And so we did a little bit of fishing back there. The fishing, for the most part, was a little slow the week we were there.
I actually did catch something there at the motel.
Yeah, he pulled in a lunker. Yeah. So anyway, we did that, and the morning that we were, that we had the deep sea fishing set up, got him drugged up with the Dramamine, and we struck out. Actually, to be honest with you, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, keep in mind, the boat, we didn't have to be there till 6:30, and the boat left at 7, so we pulled out a dock at 7 o'clock. The problem with this whole 4 o'clock thing is the fact that the boat was literally 300 yards from our motel at best.
Yeah.
So I turn over, and he is watching the weather report. And so he was excited to go. I was excited to go. I hadn't been deep sea fishing in quite a few years.
I kind of got on his nerves because every 2 hours I'd read the new weather
goodness
report.
It was man, I was so glad that day finally got there. We were there Sunday and Monday. Yeah, so we were there 2 days, and it was like every 30 minutes to an hour the boy was on his phone, and that's not like him. And unless he's checking stocks goodness gracious, y'all, that boy, he got on my nerves so bad worrying about the weather for 3 days down the road. And I told him, I said, it don't matter. If the boat's full, they're going to pull out unless there's a hurricane coming through. And I was kind of praying that the water would be a little bit calm for him for his first trip.
Like 5 foot swell.
Yeah, we had some 5-foot rollers out there when we got going. Beautiful morning, got good, and got some beautiful pictures.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and we'll share those.
Felt like it took forever to get out there.
Well, I'm sure it did for you. We got out there, and we got to going. And by the time we got to our first stop of 3 to fish, there were, I think the mate said there was 27 people inside the galley who were filling up the chum buckets. you know what I mean? And so, you know, I give him some tips and tricks of things to do and not to do. Got to fishing, had a nice ride out. It was it wasn't too bad, you know, what, probably 3 foot swells and stuff like that. It wasn't too bad. You know, I told him to keep his, you know, his eyes on the horizon, and for the most part he did good. He had some new shades that he was trying out, and told him not to focus. You know, the main thing when you're deep sea fishing is not to focus in one area all the time. It will make you very sick. It will disorient you. And he did really well the trip out. He did really well through the first bit of fishing. Go for it, big guy. There was an older lady beside of him. Tell them all about what all was going on there.
So, we had this lady that was beside me, and the first cast, I kind of just let it sink down, you know, but she had this wonderful, bright idea. She was going to cast to the front of the boat, but she was behind me, so she got crossed up in like 4 different people's lines.
Keep in mind, we're bottom fishing.
We are bottom fishing. This is like 40-some feet down, or more. So, I have a fish and she has a fish, and we're reeling it up, and we get all kinds of hung up, and she's like, why are you on me? I'm like, well, I'm not, you know. So, we're good, and we finally get undone and stuff, and she just kind of gives me this look, and, yeah, she was a little...
Yeah, it got interesting for a minute. We thought I was gonna get to see like some geriatric lady just beat the living crap out of my kid.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, I probably would have been videotaping it.
Probably.
Yeah. So, long story short, with that being said, it turned out fine. She was a nice lady. She just, I don't know if that was her first time, because he ended up stringing her fish for her, because
she didn't know what a fish was.
We were chasing fish under our feet, trying to keep up with the rail and everything else going on there. So it was a little annoying at first. We went out on the Captain Stacy. I highly recommend if you want to do some deep sea fishing when you're in that area. There's a couple options, but we've always been
some deep sea fishing.
Yeah, deep sea fishing. Deep sea fishing. Long story short, Captain Stacy's the one that we always, would try to get on and stuff. I went with my dad and my family, and we always enjoyed it. So, that being said, we get to stop number 2. And at this point, the deck was pretty clear because everybody was inside.
The waves kept getting bigger.
Yeah, so we started to encounter some different waves out there. They were coming from every side. It was starting to get a little choppy, and we started to experience 5-footers. He got focused.
Fishing.
He got into a mess of porgies out there, and
I probably caught about 15.
Yeah, I know we didn't keep it probably 7 or 8, but long story short, we threw probably 30 back. But that second spot, man, this kid was tearing them up, but he got focused looking down. And I kept telling him, I said, hey man, stop looking down. You're going to get sick, blah, blah, blah. And you know how it is. So I got a fresh 13-year-old sitting here telling me, hey, I got it, Dad. I'm good. And then all of a sudden, he puts his stuff up, and he sits down, and I get one of these. So I knew right then we might have a problem. Anyway, I asked him, I said, you need me to go get a bag? He said, nah, I'm good, Dad. I'm good. I got this. And I was like, okay. Now, I could tell by just the color of your skin alone that we were going to probably have an ejection soon. So I go ahead and I go to the galley, get a few chum bags, and I had a pretty good experience in there. They were cooking hamburgers on the grill, and
Everybody was sick.
everybody was junking their guts up. So I did the one thing that I thought would be polite and pleasant. I asked everybody, I said, hey, y'all enjoying your fishing trip? I left the galley pretty quickly. But I came back. He spewed a little bit of his drink into the bag, handed it to me, got up and went back to fishing and never stopped. Hardcore, man. He was hardcore. So very proud of him. He handled it like a champ. He did very well. We had 3 stops, 3 different holes.
It was mainly my glasses that made me sick, though, because I had some new ones and they were polarized, yeah. And I looked down and like everything was like just slow motion, like it.
All except for the waves,
Yeah.
and the boat, but altogether he did very good. We enjoyed that trip. We had a good time. We were excited for it. We can't wait to get back on the Captain Stacy. We highly recommend it. You can go on their website. We'll put some information. We'll link it down below, and I'll put the price guides too. I'll get a picture of that and put that up. Very, very nice. And if you don't want to fish and you just want to ride on a boat, I believe the rider for half day is $50, and you can go and you can hang out in the galley with all the with all the sick people, or you can go up on top on the observation deck. It's really cool, and the mates are really, really awesome dudes. They work very hard. They do come around to collect tips at the end, so always carry cash with you when you're on these head boats, because look, man, these guys are working for a living, and they worked hard. They really do, especially when they get a boat full of people who's never done this before and can't even figure out how to string a fish or get a fish off their hook or how to even bait their hook. Yeah. But anyway, made the trip back in, got to see a lot of cool sights and stuff like that. You come in, something you need to know when you get there, if you want them to clean your fish, they will provide the ice. You need to have your cooler, and it's $8 a pound, I believe it is.
I believe so.
It's something like $8 a pound, and that covers cleaning, packaging, ice, and all that stuff. So, excuse me. So when you leave, bam, your stuff is there, ready to rock and roll. Now, of course, you can take your fish, throw it in your cooler, roll back, and you can process it yourself. But I did want to let you know that. So there is added expense. For 2 of us for a half day, which is basically 5 hours, I believe it was. Yeah. I believe it was.
I think it was like 4 hours fishing.
Yeah, you got your time out and time in, but altogether about 5.5 hours. I think it was something like $125 for us to fish, and then if you put everything else in, tips and all that stuff, you're looking at probably $225. Totally worth it. We enjoyed it. Yeah. I always love going out on the boats and stuff. He loves boats. He loves water. He handled it good, like I said. We got back, and we did. We went to the pier a few times, several times actually.
It didn't really catch mine.
No, the pier was slow. The weather was a little weird. It was extremely windy every time we went on the pier. So a couple sand sharks, maybe a couple pinfish. I don't even know. He caught a crab.
Yeah, I did catch a crab.
Yeah.
And I have his claw.
Yeah. He left a memento behind.
Yeah.
So outside of that, we did that, and
I also joined a
fishing. Yeah, so he was 12 when we got there. The following week, he was turning 13. They had a youth tournament going on, and the last day we were going to be there, that was when it was. So he called and we got him signed up first morning we were there. And it was his last chance to do a youth tournament. And we were excited. Whether he caught anything or not, it didn't matter. We just wanted to be part of it and have that experience and memory. So we went down that morning. We get up all night long. Monsoon. I mean,
my shoes were so filled up with water I couldn't walk. I had to empty them out.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And cold, I'm telling you what. For it to be a 90-degree day the day before, it was really cold that night. It was, I think, like 50-some degrees and pouring rain. Crazy.
Yeah, wind blowing sideways.
And don't even get me started on the people cheating. That was...
Yeah, I guess that was the worst part, but I give him so much credit. He spoke his mind to several of the parents down there. There were a lot of people who were doing everything against the rules. I mean, to the point their kids weren't even fishing. They just blew the whole experience for the child that they had brought. But I'll give him credit, man. He stepped up and he really did some mature things, said some mature things to them. In the end, it wasn't about winning the tournament. It wasn't even about catching fish. It was just about having fun. And he got upset, and I did too, because a lot of the kids that were there who actually came, baited their own hooks, cast their own lines, brought in their own fish, took their fish off, and took them to the judges to get looked at, weighed, scored, and all that. They put the time, the effort in, and did it correctly and by the rules. There were other kids who, apparently hadn't even fished before, were miserable and whining because of the weather, didn't touch a fishing pole, but the parents were just fishing and doing their thing, and yet the judges allowed it. So that was at Bogue Pier. It was put on by the town of Atlantic Beach, I believe. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was hard. I know there was a lot to keep up with, because even though this monsoon and this rain happened, there was like 100 and some kids there, and even though it looks in these pictures that we're putting up here, it looks like it was absolute misery, we had a ball. We laughed a lot.
We got free ice cream out of it too.
And by we, he means him. So there wasn't an inch dry on us. The rain gear was, it was useless at the point by the time we got done. But we really enjoyed ourselves, and so we have that memory and those pictures, and we're glad to share those with you. If you get down there, check the little booklet that the hotels and motels give you. There's all kind of events during the summer that go on down there, and sometimes there's youth fishing tournaments and stuff like that. Check them out. And it was totally free. They even provided bait, even though we had our own bait and setup. They provided a pound of shrimp per person. All you had to do is show up, get your name wrote down, checked in. It didn't cost you nothing to get in. It didn't cost you nothing to park. No cost whatsoever. Nothing. No. And then you get a goodie bag and free ice cream. Yeah.
And some gummies that.
Yeah. Well, there were gummies in there, but they didn't make it. They didn't make it.
There was literally a gummy coating in the bottom of the bag.
Yeah, we didn't keep the bag, I don't believe.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so, but anyway, long story short, a lot of things to do. You get a chance, man, go down, stay at Atlantic Beach. If you were down there in the last, I don't know, if it's been, 12, 15 years since you've been down there and you're like, there wasn't nothing down there. Well, there is now. There's plenty to do, plenty to see. There's great restaurants. There's a great steak restaurant. Go all the way past Emerald Isle, like going into Jacksonville. And when you get there to the light, turn to the left. It's River Creek. I'll put a picture up. Very good place, very nice people, beautiful, beautiful little setup. I mean, it's go check that steak place out. It's the bomb. Yep. So, any final words for you, big guy? Huh?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all, man. If you haven't subscribed, please take a minute, hit that subscribe button. We have all kinds of content that revolve around entertainment and fun that's coming out. We're working to upgrade our equipment every chance we can. We just thank y'all for supporting us.
Thanks for stopping by, everybody.